Good morning everyone, I'm Angie from the Country Chic Cottage and I'm coming to you live right now from my kitchen near Nashville, Tennessee, where I've been creating home canning recipes for years. And I'm so excited to be part of the 6th annual International Can It Forward Day. And I am going to show you today how to can green tomato pickles. So very exciting. I just want to start by letting you know for every engagement on this video, $1 will be donated to the Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee. So up to $1,000. So be sure to like, comment, that type of thing on the video on Facebook so we can donate as much money as possible to charity. You also have the chance to win 1 case of the Collection Elite Wide Mouth Pint Blue Jars. So if you like those old blue jars, you'll love the new version. And 1 case of the Wide Mouth blue lids, so the lids that go with them. So if you want to comment on below with the hashtag CanItForward, you will be entered to win that prize pack. So when the demo is done, 1 random winner will be selected. So be sure to comment while the demo is live so you get a chance to win that. Again, hashtag CanItForward, comment below. Alright, so green tomato pickles. My favorite way to enjoy them is fried green tomato pickles. If you like fried green tomatoes, if you like fried pickles, this is the best of both worlds all in one dish. So I'm going to show you actually how to can the green tomato pickles, and we're just going to get started. So first of all, if you have any questions while I'm going through the recipe, be sure to comment below and I'll try to answer them in the comments, and you can ask them later, of course, if you run across a replay of this, and I'll answer those as well. So we're starting with green tomatoes, and I just picked some nice green tomatoes from my garden and washed them and sliced them into, let's say, 1/4-inch slices. I have about a pound or so right here, and I have some, I like to use the wide mouth jars for this recipe so the tomatoes fit in here better. So I have some wide mouth jars in my canner over here, already nice and warm and ready for canning. I also have the bands and lids, which I have washed with warm water. That's all you have to do with those. The lid itself needs to be new. Those cannot be reused, but you can reuse the bands if you have those in your kitchen. And then in this pot, I have got, for every pint jar that I'm going to make, I have a 1/2 cup of just plain distilled white vinegar, a 1/2 cup of water, and a teaspoon of pickling salt. It is important to use pickling salt in recipes, in pickling recipes, basically so your brine stays clear and your produce keeps that great color in the jar. Makes them very pretty. Alright, so I've already washed and sliced my tomatoes, and we can go ahead and get a jar and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a towel to my cutting board to place the jar onto. And then I have a handy dandy jar lifter. If you do not have a jar lifter, I would definitely pick one of those up. It makes this part of the canning process super easy. So these are really going, and I'm just going to pick one up, pour that hot water out, and I have 1 jar ready to go. And so for each jar, we are going to add 2 cloves of garlic, a sprig of fresh dill, a teaspoon of dill seed, and 1 bay leaf. So I'm just going to add that to the jar. And then we're just going to start popping in these tomatoes. And what I like to do is layer them in the jar. If some of these, so this size will go fine into the jar and layer up just great. But you might get some tomatoes that are too big for the jar, and you can just slice those in half and add 2 halves to the jar instead of 1 full green tomato. So canning green tomatoes is perfect for the end of the season. If you are running close to the end of the season, it is also great, like if you're going to go on vacation, to be sure to use up those tomatoes before you go. So I'm just going to ladle in some of my hot brine onto, so I just brought that vinegar, water, and salt to a boil in this pot. And I like to kind of add the brine as I go in this recipe. Some of the tomatoes get really tight, like that one was really tight in the jar, and it's harder for the brine to flow around the tomatoes as if I was to fill them all the way up. So I find it's easier to just start filling and adding that brine as I go. So when we approach the top, this recipe calls for a 1/2 inch headspace. So we want to be sure that on any canning recipes that you take into account the headspace in the recipe. So I find a great tool for that. This tool is from Ball, and it will actually, so this side can be used. I'm going to get a towel. This is really hot. I'm going to get a tool, this tool, and this side can be used to get all the air bubbles out. So I mentioned that we want to be sure to fill it all the way with brine. We do not want any air bubbles to be in this. You want to get all those out and all those little air pockets filled with brine. So running this tool around the edges will do that for you. This, and then on the other side, this tool actually measures headspace. So each of these steps is a headspace. The second one is half an inch. So I can hold it up there and I can see that I'm below the 1/2 inch with my tomatoes. And I need to add some more brine now that I've gotten those air bubbles out. I'm just going to top that off. Make sure the tomatoes are covered. Now we are just going to wipe the lid and rim off, make sure there's nothing on there. And I want to make sure to remind you again to keep those likes and comments coming so we can donate as much money as possible to the Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee. Now I just added the lid and the band, and all you want to do is make sure that the band is finger tight. I mean, it does not have to be, you know, a muscle tight. You just finger tight and it's fine. It's just to hold this lid on long enough to get everything sealed up. And again with the jar lifter, and we can just put that back into our water bath canner. So this is just a large pot from Ball, and it has a canning rack on the inside so that the water can get all the way around the jars equally. And then I just have the empty jars inside, and then when you put the full jars in, you want to, we did one jar, put the jar in, and then you want to get your next jar and repeat with the same process. So you want to avoid any type of assembly line canning where you would get all the jars out and do them all and then put them in. You want to keep everything hot. So we're keeping the jars hot and the brine hot in order to not shock the jars at all. So we're going to do one more while you have a few minutes to like and comment and make sure that we donate as much money as possible to charity today. I do want to say that if you do not win the giveaway, so again, if you comment below with hashtag #CanItForward, you have the chance to win a case of the blue wide mouth jars and the blue wide mouth lids. If you do not win that, at the Ball website, you can check out freshpreserving.com for tons of sales today. So if you want to get into canning, if you're new or experienced and want to catch some great deals today for Can It Forward Day, there are some selection of items behind me. So number one is this great canning and preserving guide. I call that the Canning Bible. If you do not have a copy, I would highly recommend it. It will show you how to can just about anything, give you the tips and tricks for doing it correctly. Whether you are a new canner or veteran, I definitely recommend that book. You can also get, if you are into making spaghetti sauce or other types of sauces, the Harvest Pro sauce maker is also on sale today, along with, if you love these blue jars, the blue jelly jars and pint jars are on sale today, along with the blue lids to go with them. So if you've ever wanted to try those for your canning recipes or crafts around your home, just to hold flowers, they look gorgeous. Any of those options, definitely pick those up today while they're on sale. So if you have enjoyed this, be sure to tune into the Ball Facebook page all day for more Can It Forward recipes. There will be recipes all day from canning experts. You can also, if you've ever had a burning question about canning, you can ask that on Twitter using hashtag #CanItForward, and those will be answered on the Ball Facebook page by canning experts. And be sure to share your canning recipes on Pinterest and Instagram with hashtag #CanItForward as well. So I've done a few of these. I would go ahead and finish up all of my tomatoes. Pop the lid on my waterbed container. Bring that to a boil. And these need to process for 15 minutes. Once they're done processing, you're going to remove them from the heat. Remove the lid. Let them sit about 5 minutes. Remove the jars again with your handy dandy jar lifter. And check them about 12 to 24 hours. Make sure they are properly sealed. So you just press the center down. If it does not pop back up, it is properly sealed. And your pickled green tomatoes are ready. So you can, I would wait about 2 to 3 weeks. Let them get good and pickled before you use them. But they will be ready in a few weeks and you can enjoy them straight out of the jar or fry them up with a little breading for fried green tomato pickles. So if you missed any of this recipe, want the exact measurements, be sure to check out freshpreservedideas.com for this recipe. And the full recipe will be there. But you can also check out my blog, thecountryschiccottage.net, and I will have a link to that recipe today so you can enjoy that, as well as a recipe if you want to know how to make those fried green tomato pickles. If you are interested in that at all, be sure to check out thecountryschiccottage.net. Again, keep watching the Ball Canning Facebook page all day. Use hashtag CanItForward to ask all your burning canning questions and get advice from canning experts. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, a couple more seconds to like and comment below to donate $1 for every like and comment to the Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee. Thank you all for joining me today, and I will get to your questions in the comments as you ask them. And have a great day, and be sure to can it forward.